from the Americas region. Influence Rage do very, very well on Miramar. Alpha 7 as well. I've seen them drop 20-plus elimination games on Miramar. That would be insanity if they do it here. But top 8 is what they're shooting for currently. Top 6, still very healthy. But you want to finish off day strong. You want to finish off, in top 8. Doing so will then set you up very nicely going into your next group stage matches. We've got a pretty standard playing path, which means we shouldn't see too many crazy drops.
Yeah, we are going to be fairly fair on the start of this Miramar here in terms of achieving that top 8 towards the end of this tournament, right? Well, the first league stage, rather, of this tournament. You're going to be looking, as we said, during that last match, probably around that 80-point margin, which sits you at 6 2/3 point average if you're doing specific exact maths.
Sure.
So if you're looking to get above that, you want to be putting up 7-8 points average, right? To feel a little bit more comfortable when it comes towards those later games, if you're able to keep that up. So over these first 4 matches, you're going to be looking up towards the mid-30s right now to be looking a little bit more healthy. Obviously, 32 points would be really nice, but not too many teams have been able to break that 30-point barrier just yet. However, it is always more dramatic, the curve of the point scoring going over this one. A pretty dramatic circle shift as well, coming on through all the way down to the south side here.
I said standard. Well, it's not going to be. We go all the way down low to the south, which for all those rosters who are still up in the air, right, going to their original POI, their landing POI, now have to rotate towards the south, which, of course, you know there's going to be a lot of competition going your way. And so, well, for Hora Alpha 7, maybe going to run into a bit of a scuffle. For Team Vision, they've got the longest travel all the way up towards the top side, but that's just the way it goes. It's going to be relatively slow until the very end. But for DRX, another great position inside stage number 1, which could put them in an amazing spot to potentially win 3 out of the 5 games today.
That would be pretty incredible. And the fact that there's 2 chicken dinners and they're not in first place is kind of miraculous. But, you know, that's just how Fourth Thrives like to play it. And Fourth Thrives didn't have a great game last time around. So DRX certainly have stiff competition, letting themselves down on those non-winning games, right? And when we talk about averages, you really have to look at these lower performing games. And for DRX, that is what is currently dragging them down. They would be miles ahead of the field.
Sure.
Doing miles for your benefit, of course. You know,
I appreciate your freedom units, baby.
Absolutely. But they would be absolutely streets ahead of everybody else in this lobby if they could bring up those averages. I always give this comparison, right? You can look to earn 12 more points in 1 match, or you can look to earn 1 more point in 12 matches. And it is if you could do that every single time consistently, that will build up to the same result. Sure, you can look for those 18 elim chicken dinners.
Yes.
Or you can look to put 2 more points on average every single game. And those are the small differences that really start to bring up these averages that can really power you through these tournament stages.
It goes back to that consistency conversation, right? You can have a great flash in the pan game, but if you only have 1 out of the 12 games you're playing in group stage, that's incredible. Yeah, you'll be up 40-plus points, and well, then it starts to dwindle away, and by the time you reach the final game of your group play, now you're in trouble. You've got to go for another Hail Mary attempt, and well, it might not work out, and typically it doesn't, so you'd rather average a better position than, of course, have just a good flash in the pan play. By the way, thank you once again for doing the miles. We were talking kilometers the other day, and I'm trying to think to myself, what's the conversion rate from kilometers to miles to teaspoons? I couldn't tell you because I don't even know the difference between a rock and a ficus, man. I get so lost in the conversation.
It's about 17 millimeters of it.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. DRX, though, they might have had a central position, but Yangon Galacticos getting aggressive, like Max was saying on the desk, trying to take that from them and immediately taking down one of the South Korean players there, losing and going down to 3. Smiles on the chase as well. He wants more.
He wants more, and he might get it. Shots potentially connecting a bit shaky. It's far out there. I don't blame him, but he at least says, hey, I'm still here. You cannot take any respite. You cannot rest. Keep on going and get out of our location. But the question is, who else is going to be around them? Because this is a pretty tightly contested area. You got YG, you got Reginald. You also have, of course, Weibo, who's going to be just up ahead. Now they're honestly going straight into Falcons, who are going to be just below them, who might be rolling up into them.
Could potentially be, but we'll have to wait and see. They're still a couple hundred meters out. That backstop for DRX is looking to be maybe contested, you're right, but it seems like they've fallen short. Up in towards Chumacero, which is where Weibo and Regnum Kaya currently sit, they are less likely to be pushing further south, right? They're less likely to be moving up into these hills right now. It's a difficult ascent when you know there's teams already in there. It will be difficult if it goes further south, but I imagine they're going to look potentially to split around the sides. Currently just looking to hold a little bit more pressure there. They'll have the high ground in Chumacero, hopefully under control, fingers crossed. But for now, they're just trying to keep the teams moving in from that north side out and force them into these coastal rotations.
Falcons in a great spot, looking pretty good. They need a decent game. Feel like they've kind of fallen a little bit behind, but still relatively healthy within the top 9. As we look at their position, the question was, would they be able to see DRX? And they can, way off in the distance, but for the meantime, there's no reason to get antsy. For the teams who are down here towards the island, like, they're chilling. There's no reason for them to engage. There's no reason for them to get too crazy, unless you're trying to, of course, overtake one of the hillsides. For DRX even, despite an early loss, losing a teammate, I would still say they're relatively healthy, right? They've got 3 members up. They're still relatively center zone. For them, no reason to get too crazy. Four Thrives, though, maybe getting into an engagement with Weibo up top. You got IQ, who's already down and out. The question is, Four Thrives, do they challenge once again for the hilltop? No, they do not. They are dipping out.
Alpha 7 are behind this as well, about a kilometer out of this, so it could potentially run into this fight if it carries on. But Four Thrives, you're right, disengage. They don't want this fight. This is a really good opening for Weibo to maybe look to transition to the hills on the south side. It's difficult when you don't know the timing of the teams approaching you to try and establish. And with Four Thrives backing up, they're going to shunt straight on into Yangon Galacticos, who, remember, crashed into DRX earlier on, but they find out just what is waiting for them. They figure it out immediately. They're straight back down the hill.
Straight back down. They see it. They dip away. They're gone. Couple of warning shots. Hey, don't come back around our area. We're controlling this hilltop, and Weibo in a power spot for sure, without question. Still very tightly contested. Alpha 7 now starting to get a little bit active coming into where Weibo's at. Of course, a lot of distance still separating them, 100 meters, as I just learned from you just a couple seconds ago. But yeah, for the rest of the rosters moving in, you know, it's still going to get even tightly contested up in the northern side, especially if we have a shift up there. Things could get wild for all the southern teams.
It certainly could. It is going to be the South Chumacero Hills, still the focal point. I'm waiting for this second circle to pop before we go a little bit crazy here, because we do have that potential Partona finish. That Minas del Sur area could potentially be on the cards. It's a little bit unlikely. In fact, I would say bordering on impossible, but it could be the case, right? The second circle shift can be pretty titchy when it comes to the cutout on the area. So we'll see where we end up. We've still got about 20 seconds or so before that one comes on through. And we'll have to see where that drops. Could go over to Los Leones as well, or center up on Chumacero to the north.
Find out very shortly. The arena's set up nicely inside of a compound themselves. Team that desperately needs to finish these two Miramars strong. Take a peek at the map as it will be transitioning very shortly. Every team very, very healthy. We do have a shift towards the south, which is going to be great for DRX. Honestly, even better for Alpha 7 as far as I'm concerned. They've got Horror moving in, but for Alpha 7, DRX, some heavy hitters still looking strong in this next stage.
I was interested to see if anyone is going to go down to this south island,
like Falcon,
try and head on through. It looks like they might be taking that option, or they could. I think they're just wrapping around the coast for now. But potentially could branch out.
Alpha 7 down to Carrillo as well.
Carrillo, I mean, they're moving. Yeah, they're moving. They're still just on this coastline, but it could be a crash between the Falcons and Alpha 7 on this coastline. Influence Rage trying to send straight on past. Weibo allow them through here and trying to get more central towards Yangon Galacticos. It looks like Regnum Kaya have a similar idea. Teams are moving fast.
Fast indeed. Question is, when do they run into each other? Eventually, they're going to have to. Influence Rage still has a lot of distance between them and other rosters. It looks like Carrillo has backed away, by the way. I got a little bit worried because if you go back to the last area we casted, Carrillo was isolated by himself from his teammates, and that was really unfortunate. You don't want to see too many teams splitting up as much as they do, and Alpha 7 does have a tendency to do that. Granted, typically they hold their ground, but running into a full-fledged unit of Falcons would have been scary for Korea, but they get back together. Here it is, Influence Rage, Ragnum Kaya also going to be very, very close to each other, but for the meantime, it looks like everybody is settling down.
Loxy defending this new roll-up position for Regnum Kaya, all four of them in the same spot. They're going to look to start to extend their influence over the compound, establish some sight lines. Silas now repositioning on the vehicle, and it looks like they just want to get on the inside of this warehouse. Holding out these sight lines is going to be good news, but actually breaking out back, that's interesting. They're going to try and put pressure to the teams moving in behind them as everybody's still on this mad dash. Falcons, Alpha 7, still safe from one another for the time being, right next door to each other on the tables as well. We'll see if they can conclude it. AXTMG moving in from the east side slow with Team Secret on their south edge.
Yeah, Team Secret's right next to them. I'm sure this fight is eventually going to conclude as soon as they get closer and closer into the next stage, which therefore opens up a potential for a third party. But for Team Secret, trying to stay as close to the edge they possibly can to avoid any potential shots from AXTMG, which surely are going to be coming through. As far as AXTMG go, where do they really go? I mean, there's not a lot of real estate inside of this next stage. They're going to have to fight, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to have to either go through Team Secret eventually, or, I don't know, maybe Fireflux, who's just up ahead of them.
There's also the option of holding and playing for the next circle. The bridge that sits between the South Island and the mainland can play around that a little bit. It does force you into isolation. Team Secret, look at what Team Secret are doing right now. On our minimap, we're looking at Team Secret right now because they've just broken down south side to Partona. You can see that rotation led by Xerus on that south edge. They're looking to try and ruin the day for Falcons potentially here. You do have that bridge approach that you could take further into the circle. It pushes further away and keeps that Via de Mar bridge in the circle as well. Alpha 7 wants more in the center, but this is getting messy now.
Very messy indeed, and Team Secret, all eyes on them because this is such a unique play, something I personally wasn't expecting, and they do have a bit of a piece of the next zone if they do go up towards that left side bridge, as you mentioned, and could be the bridge trolls themselves. We focus in on Influence Rage, who is opposite of E-Arena, and also Falcons, who's been standing up against DRX. DRX taking a couple of shots, but they're going to be just fine, you would have to assume anyways. I'd save that, get out of the car, and unfortunately Sykes is going to drop down, and another one taking too much damage. Now the question is, does anyone take advantage? Well, Alpha 7's a little bit too far away, so they should be able to recover, but my goodness, could it be any slower?
Falcon's going to try and take some advantage here. Soez rebuffed from the windowsill. Alpha 7 are still taking shots in the roll-up on Navallo. Makes the cross. Koa not so lucky. Navallo goes down as well, and maybe with the hold, the assist coming through from Alpha 7, the Brazilians playing spoiler to the Falcons' approach here. They try and fly on in, but instead they have to divert, head out to the west, but Alpha 7 aren't done. Another volley of fire, and they aren't going to quite connect on this one, but the damage is done.
Oh my goodness. Oh, and actually still taking damage from a distance, and they're going straight into Hora, as Hora is going to be gunning down Falcons. This is surely the end. Only one more player remains, and Falcons, unfortunately, unfurling right before our eyes, the first team to be eliminated. And you know what's kind of spooky about that? That could have very well been Team Secret 2 if they would have stayed right next to Falcons, because they were at one point and going in the same exact direction, the same path, before Team Secret decided to drop south.
Well, let's see if AXTMG can change the tune, because they're doing exactly that. You could see they are now positioned where the Falcons were. They're looking to push maybe towards DRX, depending, or they could just hold in this longhouse, hold in this compound on the edge of the circle, wait for E-Arena to try and make some moves, or Alpha 7, very unlikely that they move out from their spot right now with how central they are. It is only, of course, stage 3, so they are going to be looking to try and hold things down. AXTMG, I think, had the right idea. I don't think Falcons had to move here. I think it was a little bit of a misplay. They felt like they wanted to be more central, and they paid the price for that.
Teams can crash in, they can go center. We've seen it earlier, right, with Influence Rage, who just went straight on past multiple rosters, but sometimes it doesn't work out, and that's the risk you take when you play against Blue Zone. It will tank damage away. Obviously, at this point in the stage, it's not too bad, but I think Falcons could really feel the pressure, and once they started taking damage, that first initial fight just didn't work out for them. They just went haywire. They weren't thinking things through, and everything went blank, and, well, once they pushed in, they were done. Hora takes them out. Really unfortunate, because Falcons have played so well today. Still in a great spot, though. Don't get me wrong, top 9. They're going to have to finish strong in the final game. I believe in them.
Power now with 3 players forward, 1 on the backstop, looking to push past Fireflux on the east edge. Another shift out west means that they will have to get a shift on after this circle. But they have to conclude first. Power could potentially divert, but they've got Influence Rage to the south, Regnum Kaya at the front. It is really a cage match right now. Any team could look to try and disengage it, though, on those edge positions. Try and get out of the way, but Power, they take a shot. And again, it's not looking good. Easy falls once more.
Just feel like Power is a team that sits too long. They're too indecisive, and that's what's been doing them in. That's why they're currently dead last in 16th place. Even in this moment, what do? I understand it's a tough spot. Influence Rage on one end, on the other, of course, you've got Fireflux who's going to be gunning you down. But Power didn't have to be here. They could have made a move. As we do have a zone shift, we still have Team Secret who could take that left-hand bridge. But again, all eyes on Influence Rage, Fireflux as well as Power. Power, I can't believe they're actually sending in. They got a knock, and they said, well, it's time to go in and go for it. Take down Influence Rage, and well, shots are connecting, and Influence Rage will fall. That's 2 down.
Ragnar and Alhaji roll on in.
What?
A rampage as Easy is the only casualty. Esports E-Arena are moving in from the southwest side as well. They want to take a piece of this pie, but it's just Little Boy remaining. If Power can conclude now, they have a chance against this fight.
Let's go,
and E-Arena
Power.
Moving in, trying to take this third party, but instead they just turn, they get a little bit more west, and they're trying to play choke on this fight now. They're trying to slow it down, bog them down towards the blue zone and take these points.
Power, they can go north though. They can avoid this entire fight if they choose to do so. E-Arena though, they most likely want to take this, or they could disengage themselves. It's a question of what they want, but for Power to push it on Influence Rage in the fashion they did, good on them. I was talking about their indecisiveness. They finally got active and it paid off, and look at them. They're still alive, they're repairing, and they're moving up. This is what we need for Power to turn the tides around.
They are still only on 3 points on the match.
I don't
though.
care.
The placements aren't quite there. Carrillo with the roll-up. They've been tracking this fight on the mini-map this whole time. AXTMG had tried to do the same thing, right? DRX moved out, who, by the way, are still surviving as a duo. And AXTMG moved in. Alpha 7, same spray down they made onto Falcons. Spray down again. They pick up those points. They pick up those elims. And now they're trying to take down the stragglers.
Oh, Weibo on Vision. No off and a lot of damage. Taking it anyways. Order. Moving through the smoke like a zombie in the night, getting the off angle. He's going to be deadly without question. He also coming up. You got to think Team Vision are about to be put into the absolute blender, but not capitalizing on these downs. Go for it, boys. Take them out. Get the finishes. You got a Team Vision member off to the edge. 33Z sees Volt, but can't get the shots needed. Volt lives for a little bit longer, but you got to think Weibo in this spot, too powerful.
2 players now remaining for Vision in the way. Moving past should be easy for Weibo. They should be able to find these fights, just get these trades. You can't really afford to give too much, though. You're going to have to think about rotating in for the next one. Playing so far to the edge, you need all the mobility you can get. Volt hits the deck, and her can't quite connect the spray down. Has to divert as well. Somehow Never Alone and Volt are surviving this. This is a lot longer than I expected from them.
Yeah,
finally, he's found.
And alone. Fortunately alone, all up to his own devices, up at a distance. Forced to just stay where he's currently at. Volt finally drops, and Vision will finally go down. Weibo wins a critical fight because now they have the dead into the zone and they are all by themselves. Weibo, now one of the favorites in my mind to potentially take this game. Granted, you got a lot of great teams still remaining, but Weibo have been improving each and every game. They've been moving up the leaderboard, and well, I'm thinking they're going to have a solid finish. Now, for 4 Thrives, Alpha 7, maybe cooking up.
Could potentially be a chance for them to move on in.
Oh, E-Arena too.
E-Arena from the south side. It is a shift up towards the north edge. Team Secret, by the way, still going. They rotate out to that south side. Has managed to play well. They have all 4 players. They had a player as a backstop, but they can rotate and regroup. Alpha 7 now in for a scrap. South side will need to leave this position, but they need to fight this out first. Mafioso on the top floor has the backup for the players downstairs, and Tiny K can't quite get any retribution here. Now just 2 players alive for E-Arena. They're not going to take this fight. They know they don't have the time.
They just deliver 2 eliminations to Alpha 7 and say, okay, that's good enough. We're going to go ahead and dip out for Alpha 7. They'll take that all day, every day. And for E-Arena, well, they're still running into some struggles as, fortunately, Terry is going to fall. 4 Thrives will take them. Now, the question is, for 4 Thrives, do they have the wherewithal to potentially cut off Alpha 7's rotation? That is a possibility.
It is definitely a chance here, but they do need to, again, hold their backstop. I think that they're going to be a little bit more chill with it. Alpha 7 looking to try and push through. They may be trying to backfill and sweep out to the east side. It's a pretty difficult progress no matter where you go, but for Carrillo, he's opening up the bidding, allowing his team to move forwards, dropping some smokes, expending that utility to allow them a bit more mobility here. The circle isn't going to be on them for another couple of seconds, so they've got a little bit of time to play with. You can see they're moving up towards that roadside. They've already cleared out all the teams who tried to backfill on that western edge with AX, TMG, with Falcons all trying to make that rotate. They know there's going to be a little bit of a vacuum there, so they know they can be a little bit more maybe risky with that position, with that angle.
We set up the storyline very early in the day for Team Secret. Going south, a good rotation we saw could have happened if they chose to stay neck and neck with Team Falcons. They would have been eliminated. They are still alive and actually thriving as far as I'm concerned. They've had a wonderful day. We'll see if it can continue to get even better. They are tied currently with Galactico in third place, and they've got all the compounds they need in their current location. Now, Joker, he's been a solo for a long time. Carrillo's had it in his line of sights, and you can tell Alpha 7 gets a little bit spooked because they were trying to push up onto the compound of 4 Thrives. Granted, that would have been a risky push, but what kept them in check was Joker from E Arena, who continues to be a thorn in the side of Alpha 7.
The nades keep on going through. AXTMG, eat 2, a big nade on the overarm there. And that is nasty to have found those elims earlier on the replay. Alpha 7 doing a lot of work to find the punishment over towards the west side, rotate up along that coastal road. Falak with the down shots over towards Mafioso, can't quite connect, only sees the buggy. Needs to be worried about the further tiered up high ground though. He will retreat. Nice and sensible there from Falak.
Yeah, without a doubt, Falak. It's easy, right, at times to get tunnel vision and just continue to fire down and lose your line of sight. Keep your head on a swivel, though. He absolutely does that. For DRX, I don't know how this fight even ended up unfolding. It's kind of awkward at the moment, but I tell you what, for the solo of AXTMG, he's given it to the duo of DRX just up ahead. And, well, at this point, right, if you're a solo, you're going for survivability, you're going for any points you can. Basoa says enough is enough. I want to get the finish, but I'm not able to get it, actually. Devo T gets to clean up and somehow, some way, still swimming, still staying alive, and takes down DRX by himself.
He will have the assist of Team Secret. Off on the way there were those off-angle shots coming on through. A huge amount of suppression being delivered over that way. Really does help him out. But finally DRX full, so second place out. He's behind us, Joker. He's behind. He's got the nade. He's got the cook. Oh! Too long on the cook there, and now the nade position's given away. He doesn't have another one. He's got a Molotov, but will need the spray downs as Team Secret finally start to eat lead.
They don't look at him. Joker could take down the entirety of the Alpha 7 roster. It would be so hard to do. But if Joker gets active, if he can push up with Revo down, Joker, like I said, the thorn in the side of Alpha 7. We've been setting it up, but can he get it? He's going to take down one. Now you got to focus on the 2. It's going to be over to your right side. He's going to reposition. Not a lot of health, but still for Alpha 7. Takes down, I believe, 1 member. They'll recover, but for 4 Thrives, they smell blood in the water, and they're going for it.
The Sharks are out here, but 4 Thrives have a hell of a task to achieve there. Falak immediately sprayed down. The UMP keeps them safe. The breakout wide for 4 Thrives wants to keep them going, but 2 players now knocked, and they just can't hurdle the distance here with just Noki left remaining. He's tumbling down the cliffside as Alpha 7 get back to their feet. They lost Revo to that off-angle spray down, and that is a big blow to be dealt, but they've still got some life in them.
4 Thrives, can they stay alive? That's the question. They're already in shambles. Carrillo onto Power, and Power's now out. Alpha 7 is this team that miraculously finds ways to get back into the fight with infinite res, it seems.
They just know how to keep together. They are sticking to it, sticking to their guns. And with 8 elims on this game, Weibo, Regnum Kaya, Nongshim Red Force, the 4-player teams in this one, it feels like they've got a good chance. They are sticking to this edge-style play. I know Seven was talking a lot about how he's expecting them to try and stick to that over the course of this tournament. It looks like it's working out for them here on Miramar.
All right, so Alpha 7 have effectively won the Hilltop. I can't believe you still got the one solo from AXTMG in the water. I don't know how much of an impact he's going to have, but at least against DRX, he was the Grim Reaper and took them down. 4 Thrives currently in first place, but with only a solo remaining, he's most likely not going to be able to do much. So this gives the opportunity for a lot of the teams who are towards the bottom end of the standings now to finish strong and potentially break into top 8.
What they'll be looking for here. On the north side, I'm looking at Weibo trying to get, again, another consistent game, get those points earnings going. Obviously starting the day a little bit weak, but that second place in the last match, maybe looking to convert into a first place here. On that northern side, they are fairly alone, fairly isolated, as the final player from AXTMG gets spotted, and Mafioso won't let that one go.
Rest in peace, man. He lived a long time, did his absolute best. It was fun watching him do his best. Michael Phelps out there. But tell you what, for DRX again, taking him out, that's tough. Team Secret still alive, by the way. They haven't done much, which I'm quite surprised with, and they've been now currently gatekeeped by Hora, who I do not believe is going to allow Team Secret to rotate out. So I believe Hora going to take them down relatively shortly. I think Team Secret is going to be out. And Hora then has a pretty good amount of real estate on this left side of the stage.
What? That was from Alpha 7.
Huh?
What? That's the all the way on the other side of the circle there.
Yeah, what the heck?
Towards Weibo. Unlikely that this gets flushed out, but Weibo, they're going to be slowed down by this. The circle has moved away from them, and Alpha 7 are a lot closer to it, so a really big pickup here. The Mini 14 for Mafioso is doing bits.
So you got levels to this, right? You got Team Secret who's being gatekept by Hora. You got that Hora who has, really Alpha 7 has infinite line of sights and is also looking down. For Team Secret, good on them. They actually make an attempt, and No Fear is dropped low, going closer and closer to the edge of zone to try and commit for an off angle. I don't know if this was intentional. Maybe he fell down, but Jaiki wants to take it to him, and, well, No Fear is wisely going to go ahead and back away, but that would have been really awkward. And for Weibo, they're setting up for an off angle themselves.
They found that res. They are back as 4, not taking off angle shots. They want to sweep through, control this roadside. I don't expect them to crash down here. I don't think that they want to. What they want is to pick up the pieces of this fight, find these third-party fights, find those elims and try and steal them away. Mafioso spotted by Order in the meantime, but they've got to fight in their own town to deal with. No Fear still just going for it with the shotgun, despite being on fire. Will not quite connect on it and will get flushed away. Order getting picked apart in the meantime, but Frankie goes down, leaving 1 player for Team Secret. Regnum Kaya and Nongshim Red Force in the meantime on the east side.
They're also in a fight, and utilities starting to come down from, I believe, somebody else off in the distance. Silas, who has so much to gain and earn from PMWC right before your eyes, taking on the entirety of the world up ahead, but the shots aren't hitting. He's fully exposed, and all it takes for Benny to just swing to the right-hand side to take him down. A nade potentially that opened up the door to take down Silas. It's thrown. Swing left, my boy. Take him down. Fully commit to it. Don't let him get the reses, but Alpha 7 up top are going to take everybody out anyways.
He has to stick to this monster truck right now. It's a slow-moving castle for him, right? As it stands, it just keeps rolling. It keeps him safe as Regnum Kaya full before him. Benny now can just chill behind this one. I wonder if Alpha 7 expect there to still be a player behind this monster truck. We'll have to wait and see if they've got that scouting info. But now we're down to 4 teams alive. Benny's still going, and he's going towards the circle.
He actually is. This is incredible. He's happy with this. Continues to squat down. Look, hey, you see it all, PMWC, and we've seen already quite a bit climbing towers, using your portable castle, as you called it, right? Going forward into zone. But for Alpha 7, you know they are punishing, and they are looking to punish Benny.
He hopped in, he tapped the brake there into the monster truck, so he's stopped dead. Sook gets spotted. That is a big pickup for Alpha 7 because they're going to need to descend soon. And Weibo had that ridgeline. It would have been broadside if they went for a flat rotate, but they found that opener. The res needs to come through fast for Weibo.
Alpha 7, Weibo, this is it. These are the 2 teams to win it as far as I'm concerned. Whoever wins this engagement are taking it. Benny might have an impact, but we don't know. But for 4 Thrives refusing to go out, even though he's a solo, he is mighty. 4 Thrives fighting till the very end. And, well, with that elimination also gives away his position, but he's fine. I mean, he's alive. Why did Weibo not capitalize?
I mean, they were all going down, right? They tried to cross the road. It felt messy from Weibo. That is unfortunate. Not what we wanted from them. Up the top now, Alpha 7 have 2 solos to deal with. The circle will close dead center on this one. We're into stage 9, into nearly the 29th minute now. But Benny I just wonder if he's safe from Alpha 7, not because of his position, but because of the knowledge that they have or don't have.
It's weird for him, right? Because you got 2 solos, and, well, now we're traveling. Look at it, Naki's out. 4 thrives. He says, man, I got to dip a little bit. But there is still a world Alpha 7 doesn't win this if things get weird. And Benny is holding on tight to what he's got. And does Alpha 7 know Benny has left this monster truck?
This is the thing. I don't think they do. The 2-player crash that they just did felt like they were rolling onto a solo. They'll know it's 2 solos alive. They'll know where Noki is from the gunfight. It felt like Carrillo and Squash thought that he was in that ditch amongst those vehicles. He was not. And now they're confused.
They are, because they're fully focused on 4 thrives Naki. Benny, they have no idea Benny's here.
Mafioso.
Oh, Carrillo as well looks to be cooking a nade, going straight. No, he throws it over there, but direct Squash ends up throwing a nade over here. The shot's going to ring out. And Benny's going to be exposed. He's going to get taken down. Mafioso finally hits the shot, and now it comes down to a 3v1.
Noki with a chance here for 4 thrives, but it is a slim one as Alpha 7 look to try and maintain their title towards the top spot. It's a battle for first place, but he's found Mafioso. He's got the flush. Carrillo as well. Noki, no! How can you do it to him? They want that first place. Well, you're going to have to prize it from his cold, dead hands. Squash with a chance now, and he's able to close it down. Finally finds it, but my God, what a run they gave him.
Oh my gosh, and you could see the relief on Squash Boo's face. Squash, the new addition to the Alpha 7 roster, such a heavy burden, such a momentous occasion. In the left, you can see how relieved they are from a guaranteed win to just really winning by the skin of their teeth. An unbelievable finish, but for 4 thrives, I mean, they've got to be happy with that result. Such a tremendous performance, but still for Alpha 7, give them their flowers where flowers are due. That is 2 wins out of the 5 games today, matching DRX's performance.
A brilliant